Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Tomas from AGA Token. Welcome, Tomas.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Welcome back, Mr. Gonzo and Stefano.
Hello. Hi, Thomas. Nice to meet you. Personally, virtually.
I suppose we should clear that up straight away. I believe, Mr. Gonzo, you're actually doing some work with these guys at the moment.
Yeah, these guys, they've commissioned me to do some NFTs as rewards for their liquidity pooling and some of their holders. You know, you're going to do a raffle, right?
Yep, we're going to do the first raffle on November 21st, so in about 3 weeks.
Nice.
Super excited about it. I think I'm, passionate about combining DeFi and mining and NFTs. So looking forward to that.
Excellent. So obviously it's Johnny Gonzo that sort of introduced you to the show. We're here to sort of do a long form interview with you, learn more about it. So on that note, Tomas, maybe you could effectively give us the elevator pitch, and then we'll fire a few questions at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, in this DeFi token space, especially in the last few months, we've seen a lot of new projects that have beautiful website, they pay you 1,000% rewards in their token, but they don't have a source of revenue. They are not charging any fees for transactions. They have zero revenue coming in. Really, the only thing that they are doing a pre-sale, raising a lot of money, and then they are using those funds for marketing to kind of get more people in. Frankly, it's a pyramid scheme. There is nothing foundational to those projects. Not all of them, but many of them. What's different about AGA is that we are using the funding that we got from pre-sale and from additional over-the-counter sales to buy simply Bitcoin miners, which deliver revenue to us. If you go to agatoken.com, you can see how much revenue is coming in on daily, weekly basis. And that source of revenue, just like Binance has trading fees, that backs the BNB token and allows them to do marketing and expand the operations. Same here. We have thousands of dollars coming in every week that we can then use for marketing, for NFTs, for raffles, for buying new miners, and of course, paying our expenses, which is just electricity. So that is what's different about AGA. We are backed by miners, which are producing real dollars or Bitcoin on daily basis.
Okay, so in a nutshell, for somebody that's fairly new to the space, let's talk real basics here. Why would somebody buy your token if they're coming into the space? They've heard about Bitcoin, they've heard about Ethereum, they see some marketing from you guys. What's your point of difference? Why should somebody look at buying your token?
Yeah, so AGA is mining backed. And what that really means that as Bitcoin appreciates in value, let's say Bitcoin goes 2x, the mining revenues, the mining profits from mining Bitcoin go 3 or 4x. So if you are a maximalist, if you believe in the future of Bitcoin, you can get accelerated returns from AGA. So if Bitcoin goes to 2x in terms of its value, AGA will become 4 times more profitable.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more? Explain to me.
Yeah. So there is a simple function. For every $10 that we bring in, we have to pay out $5 in electricity. Well, when Bitcoin goes to 2x, we are no longer bringing in $10. We are bringing in $20. But our electricity costs remain the same. So all of a sudden, I am no longer making 100% margin or 2x profit. I'm making 4x or 3x profit. So that is the kind of like the beauty of a mining business, where you become much more profitable as Bitcoin goes up.
Okay, I'll throw it over to you first, Mr. Gonzo. Questions on that one specifically?
Yeah. So the mining operation that you have the dashboard and stuff. Do you have like actual photos and stuff, or do you have any displays of the operation that you have? I read in the white paper what you have.
Yeah, so we are using 3 different locations, and I have photos as well videos. So
nice.
last time I went out to one of my mines, one of my operations data centers. I took a number of videos for the Telegram and for our community. So we have both. We have photos and videos. As well, we've been posting on Twitter and Telegram as new miners come in. Some of it, if we get a smaller shipment, that may come into our garage. If it's a bigger shipment, it will come in on a pallet straight into the mining facility. But absolutely, there are photos, there are videos, there are little interviews with me doing little clips saying, hey, walking into the room, it's going to get loud. Yeah, I think the community loves that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been getting fantastic feedback on that.
How many miners are you running right now?
Yeah, so that should be an easy question. The reason it's not, it's about 150, but the reason is not an easy answer. It's a combination of brand new equipment that's efficient, that's running, and about 50 miners that are older that we put online when they are profitable, or we shut them up when they are not. Those specific miners are mining Script or Litecoin. And in the last few months, they have been offline. They have not been profitable. And as of last week, they've reached the point where they are profitable again. So we just flipped them on. That's another kind of like benefit of mining, that, even at the moments where the business is not extremely profitable, you can just shut things down, not pay the electric bill because there is no electricity being used, and wait for things to change.
Okay, so I mean, obviously I've read your white paper. You've got a cheap source of electricity. I get that. Stefano, have you got a question on this particular aspect of the business at this point?
It's
regarding like on that, like on the purchase and like, because you mentioned like BTC, but like also on the website you're mentioning also like other type of cryptos, and by looking at like nice hash, there are like also the other algorithms. Can you explain a little bit on like how it works, like the decision between like one algorithm or not? Obviously, like it's based on profitability, but how often is that being adjusted? What's the strategy over there, making more money or like being bullish on a specific coin, like all those type of things, basically?
Yeah. So here's what I have learned. I've been mining now for 4 years, and usually when a new machine comes out for a different coin, for Decred, for Litecoin, or maybe even smaller coins like Verge, DGB, etc., that machine is very exciting because it's very profitable. I mean, I've seen machines make $100, $200 per day. Unfortunately, what happens is within a couple months, sometimes even a few weeks, that profitability goes down as more and more of those machines come online. So while we are, I would almost call it like opportunistic mining, while we are trying to find those altcoins that are very profitable to mine for a short period of time, and we have invested about 15 to 20% of our mining capacity towards altcoins, Bitcoin is the one that's most stable. When Bitcoin's profitability goes down, it goes down a little. When it goes up also a little. So Bitcoin mining is our backbone. While we always watch the market, watch the new miners coming out. For example, we just got 2 of the brand new SIA coin miners, not very profitable at this point, but they could become, overnight if SIA coin were to moon. So we are investing, small amounts of money, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces into miners that mine other coins, but the backbone is Bitcoin. An area that we are experimenting with is FPGA miners. Right now we have 8 units of FPGA miners that can be reprogrammed to mine new coins coming to market. And we could get lucky where instead of my profitability today on that miner, which is around $5, and we are mining Teller coin, we could get lucky with the introduction of a new coin, new mining algorithm, where this FPGAs can take 80% of the market share for a short duration of time until everything else catches up. And we are making $20, $30 a day on those miners. Ethereum was a good example. Month ago, my Ethereum miners, our Ethereum miners were making $50 a miner when, you know, the DeFi thing was going crazy and when the fees for transactions were crazy expensive for us. Every time I was paying, you know, $4 to send some Ethereum around, I was saying, well, at least I'm getting a piece of that through my miner. But, you know, if you invested in this business thinking that you will always make $50 per miner per day, you would be very disappointed today, because today that's $12 or $14. So you have to know how this business can change very quickly and be ready to, well, and just understand that. Like, you should not go and buy an Ethereum miner for $7,000 right now because you think it will make $50 a day forever. It just doesn't work that way. But some people,
a lot of people don't understand mining. Who are you marketing your token to? Who's your audience? Who are you trying to reach?
Yeah, so look, I can tell you who has been most active in the community, in our AGA Token community. Those turn out to be people who are curious about mining, that wanted to get into the business, but frankly, they don't have the same amount of time and energy to contribute to become a miner. So through working with AGA, being part of the AGA community, they have exposure to the trends. They help us decide which miners we buy, sometimes even where, how do we market them, but they are not doing it themselves. So it's somebody, in my opinion, my best AGA token holder, or somebody that I love working with, is somebody who's curious about mining, but not quite ready to do it themselves. They may not have the access to power. They may not have the time or the facilities to, you know, to get these miners and set them up, but they believe that mining is an interesting way to get higher profits than just holding Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's like the mid-range crypto person, right?
Excuse me.
Not quite,
yes.
Not quite the noob, but not the old school OG that was mining on their laptops, you know, 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's people who are curious to learn a little more than just, you know, kind of like chase the latest fad.
Yeah. Very nice.
One of the things that these people find attractive, and this is a bit of a, you know, like a headline, it's not, therefore it's not 100% accurate, but today you could argue that I am acquiring a Bitcoin at $7,000, while on the market it's 14. My miners, if I take away the depreciation factor of the miner, my miner is consuming $7,000 of electricity to create one Bitcoin. And when people think of that, they go, okay, that's pretty cool. I get it. Mining allows me to acquire Bitcoin at a discount. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, the discount's paid for by sweat and tears and the investment of your time and some of the risk associated with it. But ultimately, miners get Bitcoin for less than you do when you go to Binance or you know, KuCoin, whichever exchange you use.
Okay. What do you sort of see as the potential sort of threats to your business model, Thomas?
Well, Bitcoin going to 6,000 would not be fun, right? So let me put it this way. This is very straightforward. If Bitcoin goes down to 6,000, the future for AGA is very bleak. As I said, we can turn things off and just kind of like wait it out. But if it were to stay at 6,000, there's not much to wait out for, right? The business is not going to do well. If Bitcoin were to stay at 13,000, it's okay. I mean, as I said, we are getting them for 7,000. So then it's a nice, interesting business that over time becomes less and less profitable as competition intensifies. If Bitcoin goes to 30, 40, 50,000 quickly, it is like a massive party here. Basically, you know, our cost for that Bitcoin remains at 7,000, and all of a sudden we are just, you know, printing money like crazy. And we are able to then reinvest it into, as I said, marketing, into buying back AGA tokens, and into potentially buying more miners and expanding the operation.
Okay, Stefano, what do you see as the firstly the strengths and the weaknesses of the AGA token?
Well, I kind of have like a couple of other questions before actually going there, to be honest. Sorry, but how does it work like with the cryptos that you mine? Like you're obviously like keeping them, well, they're like in the wallet that is mining that. What happens after?
Yeah, so that's kind of like the part of the DeFi part, right? So there are two things that we are doing. We run AGA tokens on Ethereum. We run on ERC20. So relatively quickly, we convert the Bitcoin that we mine, mostly Bitcoin and the other coins, into either USDC or Ethereum. So we can operate on the ERC20 network. And then they go into our mining wallet. So basically our community can see the balance in the mining wallet go up. Then those funds are used primarily for two functions: to buy back AGA on Uniswap. So at whatever the spot price is, we just go out there every week, every 2 weeks, and spend $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 or 10 Ethereum to buy back AGA. Or we use those funds for marketing. That's really kind of the second largest use case for these funds. But basically what we are doing, we are creating this closed loop system where the profits that we generate, we give back to the community, to our contributors, mostly through the buybacks.
When you're buying back, you mean like you're buying back and burn the tokens so they're out of circulation?
Yeah, so we have a couple things. Sometimes we burn, sometimes we don't. We don't have a set policy on burning yet. We frankly been playing with it. And what we have learned is that, our liquid supply, the amount of liquid tokens out in the market is about 1.5 million. And our total supply is about 10 million. And when I burn 10,000 tokens, it's like, nobody cares, right? So I'm like, well, does it make sense to burn 10,000 tokens, or do we save them and then say we burn 100,000 tokens? So we don't have a smart developed policy on token burns at this point.
Okay. That'd be a good governance voting.
This goes back to governance.
Yeah.
We do have a governance team, kind of like almost like a board of directors. Basically, our whales, our largest holders, are part of our governance team. There is a separate Discord for them, which is invitation only. You have to have 10,000 tokens or more. And frankly, that is the conversation we are having. It's like, hey, should we be burning? We've read some articles that burning is not something that you should do. Some members believe we should, some believe we shouldn't. And we did try. We burned like 20,000, 50,000 tokens. And frankly, it had, nobody cared. So at this point, I think if we're going to burn, it's going to start like with an M, like 1 million tokens, right? Otherwise, I don't see really the reason to do it because it doesn't seem to have any effect.
So am I correct in saying that like right now, basically like the buying back that you're doing, you're just like storing them to a wallet to then in future decide what to do with those tokens? And this could be like incentives, could be burning, could be distribution on token holder, could be anything basically.
Yeah, so there's the DeFi part to the token, right? So right now, we have liquidity providers on Uniswap who earn bonus rewards, which are paid in the AGA token. Mm-hmm. So in order to pay out bonus rewards, I either inflate the supply, I take away from the cold wallet and I release it so my liquid supply goes up. But that's the beauty of the buybacks, because I can basically use the tokens that I bought back and use those tokens to pay bonus rewards, therefore not increasing the supply, kind of like keeping the supply in check. So that's definitely one thing we've been doing, the bonus rewards. We also have simple staking. We have teamed with another wallet provider that does staking in a wallet, so our community can stake tokens without learning how to be a liquidity provider and taking all the risks associated with that. And again, the rewards for staking are funded by our buybacks.
Shout out to Ferrum and the Unifier
Shout
wallet.
out to Ferrum, yeah, absolutely.
They were on the show before. So Ian friend. Yep.
Ian
Cool.
Friend
Nice.
is a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Ian Friend is a friend. Very nice. Cool. How's that going with the Ferrum staking?
Love it. We've staked 100,000 AGA for. We did something really cool. We basically created a 6-month staking pool with the ability to unstake early after 2 months. And when you unstake early after 2 months, you're still getting, I think it was 6% APY. So, if you do it for 2 months, you get 6%. If you just let it ride and wait till 6 months, you'll get 24% APY return. So
Nice.
I thought it was a nice, straightforward way to do it. And we'll do it again. Love the wallet, love the staking capability.
Going back to the tokenomics, it says that there's 7 million locked till 2021. Why is it so many locked at that point? How come the circulating supply is so low right now? What's the reasoning behind that one?
Honestly, we are kind of like learning how to do this, right? What are the right tokenomics, etc. We looked at other projects. So a lot of other projects talk about the DEF fund. We don't have a DEF fund. Our fund is the miners, right?
Right.
I don't take a salary. I have a full-time job. So this is all kind of like, a second thing that I'm doing. Really, this organization doesn't have any expenses besides the electricity and of course the miners, right? So we don't have per se DEF fund, but if you think of our miners, it's kind of like what you would get from the other projects in terms of code and some good utility that they created. What I do, I run this big mining farms. So the 7 million locked tokens, the only reason that they would get unlocked is if somebody were to come to me and say, hey, I want to contribute $2 million into buying more miners and building a larger facility, can we do a deal with these tokens? I don't honestly see that happening. So there is a very active conversation right now about reducing that outstanding supply. And I think we will be announcing something before the end of the year. I don't want to, AGA token is a token that cannot be minted, right? It's a fixed supply token. And I don't want to burn a bunch of tokens and then a year later be in a situation where not only me, but we as community go, oh, wish we had more tokens because we could have done this with them, but we've burned them. So while they sit in this cold wallet, and I know that there is a certain level of trust from community that I'm not going to just take them out and make them available overnight because that would, be bad for the price of AGA. They are locked away, and unless we have a plan for using these tokens in a way that contributes to the value of the project, they are not going anywhere. And to increase that trust, we are having a very active conversation about taking a big chunk of those tokens and making them go away, burning them.
Or even a smart contract lock? Are they under a smart contract?
They are not. They are in a physical safe.
Right.
Sometimes I, maybe I'm a little old school, but I still trust some of the things that I can touch and, my Ledger wallet and it's safe and, a couple family members have access to it as opposed to smart contract. I wouldn't say burned, but not all of the smart contracts are as audited as people claim to be. So you have to be careful where you send your tokens.
No doubt. October, September, November. Yeah. I mean, what is it? A rug pull a day going on right now? Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, question on that, because like you mentioned a lot, you've been farming for like 4 years, and as well as like the target audience are like those people that are interested in mining, but don't really have like that entire set of like either good electricity costs or the equipment or even the space or the time and so on to do that. a simple question on that, because I remember that like back in 2016 and 17, there was like a lot of FOMO around like cloud mining. And, you know, when I first read about AGA, I thought that it could have been like something similar. But if I'm someone interested on like mining, why would I actually buy the AGA token? Would it be better to like get in contact with you in another way and just being like, hey, what about like I purchased one of those private machine, like the farming machine, or just like one of you know, a fraction of those mining instead of actually getting the token? Because the reward that actually like I'm farming, it's not really going into the token right now. So why that decision of like not doing a cloud mining? And why obviously like that interest for like the miners when the token, to me at least, doesn't seem going there yet, at least. So what's maybe in the future to correlate that more?
Yeah, so the vision that I have around the token, that's a very good question. And it goes back to accounting and keeping track. You know, if you contacted me and said, hey, I want to do something with 2 miners, and then Johnny did something with 1 miner, and then Chris did something with 10 miners, I would have to build like an ERP system, accounting system, just to keep track of it. And in my opinion, a very simple model that says 100% of the profit goes back into either marketing AGA or AGA buybacks. In my mind, it takes care of this complex accounting and actually just it creates a very elegant, self-managed system. You know, instead of you buying 2 miners, you buy 2,000 AGA, and Johnny buys 3,000 AGA because he was thinking about going a little bigger, right, with 3,000 miners. And what this allows me to do, not having to keep track of all those details and personal information, but there's basically an Ethereum wallet that is benefiting from the growth of AGA as we buy it back. So I believe that we are contributing back to AGA by doing the buybacks, by doing the marketing, by doing the raffles.
But if I'm looking at like the numbers of like the state, so let's assume that I buy the token and I stake that. You guys in the latest article has put like all the different changing in the rewards. So if we consider like November, which is still like a very good month in terms of like percentage, I'm basically getting like that inflation token that comes in place. But if I'm looking at like the 400 euro daily, pretty much plus and minus that the farm is actually generating, the buybacks that is happening, I don't see that being enough to actually like keep in place the inflation that is happening at that point. Yeah. So if I'm someone that is interested in mining, again, I'm still not catching that part. Why would I actually get the token at that point? Because it doesn't seem to me that actually like I'm getting the real benefits of farming or mining, actually. Sorry.
So yeah, so a couple of things. As we progress in time into January into the next year, the inflation rate for AGA goes down to very reasonable numbers, where the amount of tokens that we will buy back from the market will be probably more than what we are spending. So we'll actually have deflation. We'll be taking in more tokens. So that's one thing on kind of like how this is. You know, right now this token went live in August. August 8th was kind of the birthday of the token. That's where we started this operation. So the last 4 months of 2020, it's a lot about, you know, investment, marketing, noise, high rewards. So let's build the community. It's community building. 2021 is much more about, okay, now we have a community. Let's operate this at a way that is, you know, profitable, that's reasonable. So, and then the question, you know, is the token the right vehicle to get in mining? What I can tell you that for handful of my community members, it absolutely is, because they are part of the organization. You know, I was reading something that Andre Kronger said, is like, look, tokens are not stocks. If you own tokens, you need to be a contributor. There is not like us and them. There's no community and devs. It's just all contributors. And although I wish that that was the case with everyone who owns AGA token, it's not, but it is true for probably good 30 members of the AGA community where they are real contributors, where they are coming with ideas. They actually, you know, we have one-on-one communication and a smaller group communication where we have really in-depth conversations about which units are we buying? How can we tune them? You know, which firmware will we run on them to make them more efficient? What are the costs? You know, should we be getting them and shipping them via air and paying more for that, or via boat? And then, well, if it comes via boat, then they arrive 6 weeks later, and during these 6 weeks, we could have made that much money. Not everyone on Telegram has that depth of level of conversation, but if you hold AGA and you want to, Stefano, we are like, I'm here. I'm literally having those conversations with my contributors, and that's what I want to do. Now, some of them may say, I almost thinking that some of my contributors should be here on this interview with me. Some of them actually went as far ahead as to try to create their own, you know, their own privately separate mining organization, and came back to me and said, I actually don't have time for this. You know, the way we were doing it with the token, with the collaboration we had, frankly, is working better for me. So I'm kind of like back into the fold. But you know, I have competitors, right? There are other miners, so this is not for everyone. And this is not cloud mining. This is not just you put in $1 and you wait to get your $10. I expect more. I think if you just want to treat it as, you know, I spend my $100 and I expect to get $200 at the end, well, maybe, but you are not a contributor. And if you are not a contributor, then, you know, maybe you should buy stocks in HODL or some other company. I really believe that for the token to work, for this to work for both sides, you need to be a little more than just a passive investor. You have to be active. You have to be part of the community.
I mean, that's totally fair. Like, and I totally agree with you on that. On the other side, any project that like pass more than like 5,000 or even like 1,000 holders in, you know, in terms of wallets, I think is impossible to have like 1,000 contributors that are like active in the same way. Yeah. You're always gonna get like the people that are just buying the token and waiting for like hopefully to get the like 10x and so on. But as a theory, like as a wish on that, I totally agree 100%. Like for us is the same thing. When we have feedbacks from the users and you know, when we get suggestion and so on, is 100% the best possible things, because like there are so many new things that comes in. That's 100%. Well, one last question before like letting obviously Sean and Jordan going back and asking questions. Do you have any timeline on when actually like the community as well as like yourself are actually going to decide on you know, what to do with the wallets that is currently like accumulating those tokens? And the second part, how often are actually like those buyback happening? Like, are we talking on like every 24 hours, every week, every 2 weeks? Are they kind of regular, or, you know, it really depends? If you can like explain a little bit around that.
Yep. So a lot of November will be a big month for us. We will have at least 2 large announcements in November, one around miners, as we are getting more capacity, more miners coming in. And I don't want to announce it too soon, because in the physical world, I don't know if they will get stuck in customs. I don't know if the truck will break. And I hate to say, I'll show you something on Saturday, and then I get a message saying, you know, the truck broke, or the power went out, and it's not happening. So I will announce it when I'm turning the switches on. But we will have a big announcement around miners. And along with that announcement, we will announce changes to tokenomics to make, we talked about this. I don't want to give specific numbers, but we will make our supply of tokens smaller to make people more comfortable that are holding the tokens today. That will happen in November. Then in December, we'll continue with raffles and NFTs. And I'm really looking to 2021 as where we are just operating, just executing. But that's the timeline that I'm thinking. Oh, and then you were asking about the tokens that we get back and burning. We need to, it's an active conversation. So what I love about the Discord, it is almost a conversation like this. It's an active conversation. What should we do? And right now we have almost like a 50-50, like a divided, like the US election. It's like, we don't know which way it's going to go. There is a strong community that says, for burning, another one against it. I believe that if we burn, we go after the wallet and we burn million or more. And then the tokens that come in from buybacks, we frankly use them to fund rewards, to fund the staking. So this way, we don't have inflation. We have either flat or even potentially deflation.
Or you could do 50-50.
Yeah, so we've played with that 50-50. The other question was, how often do we buy back? We've been buying back every week. Now, we pay rewards. Unlike a lot of other projects, we don't pay rewards daily. We pay all of the bonus rewards on monthly basis on the 15th of each month. And it's a big chunk of reward AGA that comes out to the community. And we've learned last month that, if 50% of those rewards get sold on that day, that's a bad day for, what happens with the price, that's right? So I am, frankly, what I'm doing right now, I'm holding back on some of that Bitcoin that I'm mining to use it on the 15th or the 16th to help with that, with people selling rewards. Because as you know, the November rewards are still very high. They don't flatten out till December and later. So I'm building a fund to help with buying back the AGA that people will be selling, because they will get a lot of it in rewards on the 15th of November.
Can you share which one is actually the wallet that is being used for that?
Yeah, it's so you can, if you go to Telegram and hit the pinned message.
Oh, it's there.
It's in that pinned message. I think it's the last line. So you have to go all the way down, but there is an ERC20 wallet that you can see.
Perfect.
That ERC20 wallet has slight delay because, and that's something that I'm working with a couple of developers. We are mining BTC, and I'm looking at a way to quickly convert it into like wrapped BTC and send that into the wallet. We are not doing that right now. So some of the BTC we mine sits in that NiceHash account till I manually go in and I move it around, and I have to move it to an exchange, trade it for Ethereum, and then move it to that wallet. So there is slight delay, but it's it's a good way to look at it.
It's quite accurate.
It's an interesting mechanic that we just reviewed Unitrade last week.
Yep.
And to solve that problem that you have of everybody dumping when they get their rewards, is they do their rewards in ETH. Maybe, like you said, use wrap Bitcoin as rewards. Like if you actually got your rewards in Bitcoin, like a 50-50 split, or some kind of half AGA, half Bitcoin, right? That might help alleviate some of that sell pressure on the 15th,
Yep.
Thomas, 2 questions.
Like that. Go for it.
What you mentioned you've got another sort of day job, so to speak. Can you tell us a bit about that? What more about what your background is? And second thing I'd love to know is what is Bitcoin to you? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I've been in high-tech space since I left school. In college, I built computers. I wanted to be the Michael Dell. Didn't quite work out. I went to work for Accenture, where I implemented large SAP implementations, lived in Tokyo, visited Singapore many times, worked with Singapore Airlines, so the large businesses. After that, I went to Microsoft, where I did similar work, business development in the enterprise computing space. And from then, I went to NetApp, where I'm at right now, where I met a group of friends who were mining Litecoin and Bitcoin. And then I got the virus, I got the bug, and I've been, been chasing it for the last 4 years. You can tell by the accent, I'm Polish. So it's not that I've been, hurt by highly inflationary systems, but I've seen them. They were not foreign to me, right? I've seen, currencies go to zero, get devalued, swapped around for another currency, etc. And Bitcoin it's very simple for me. I mean, I can send, when I buy miners in China and I need to send $50,000 to China, I can do it within 30 minutes on my computer. It is very scary when you're typing in those numbers because it's a lot of money, right? So you're double checking them and all of that. But it's still, even if USA, a very developed country, if I wanted to do that via a bank, I have to get in my car, go into the office, bring 2 kinds of ID, sign paperwork, and then, the wire transfer takes 48 hours. It's ridiculous, right? So I think Bitcoin is the future. It's what our future financial system will be built on, along with Ethereum.
Agreed.
Okay. Who else is who are the other sort of key members of the team?
Yeah, so right now the team's very, very light. I'm relying a lot on my wife to help me with marketing. She needs a lot of help there. And then I have a number, they're not really part of the team. In a lot of both of the facilities that I have the miners in, there are other partners that are doing mining, but they are not part of AGA. So I have like a support group, right? People that I go out with, we set up miners together, things like that, or we, clean the facility, but they are not part of the AGA token. They are just kind of like partners in the building, in the facilities.
Okay. Awesome. Family business. We love it.
Yeah, it's still very small.
Cool. So, Mr. Gonzo, you introduced us to the project. Comments, questions?
Yeah, I mean, he covered a couple of them. I was just wondering about you guys' crypto experience as I was looking up the other people on the LinkedIn. But yeah, you kind of went over that, which was great. Similar, you get the bug and then you turn it into a business. That's cool. What else did I have? I think I pretty much covered all of it. I think I'm a part of it of a couple other projects where, they have this question of like burning, not burning. One of the other things too that you have to worry about with burning is that it could be considered a security, right? Once you working into the burning. And the team also, there's a platform and they do a buyback, right? But it's not like there's a bit of trust issues with it, right?
Yeah.
And as it goes along, if things get missed, the community gets really like, what's going on? If there's some way that you could automate it, it would really make it a lot more like reassuring for the, for the community, especially because like, crypto is supposed to be based on like trustlessness, right? And like using smart contracts. I understand your concern with all the holes in the smart contracts and stuff, but I think if there was a way that you could, automate those buybacks, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I think on a set date is not a good thing because as you've experienced, you get a dump, right? But if you say, okay, once the wallet reaches a certain threshold, then it goes to Uniswap and it does a buyback, or when some kind of trigger, but it isn't set, because you're going to have traders always trying to take advantage of that. Like they're always going to wait for that dump. They're going to buy, or you know what I mean? Like you're saying, you're trying to set up that fund, which is kind of good. Yeah, for me, that's like kind of a bit of a gap there. I think, is if there's any way that you could automate it and just make it more bulletproof, it would give people a lot more reassurance to buy back or to buy AGA. I like the idea. I like the fact that it supports Bitcoin and it builds on Bitcoin. You see the profits from Bitcoin, and so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
interesting
Johnny,
concept.
I agree with you. You know, as we expand this, the people that I would like to bring onto the project is one, marketing. Somebody, you know, you can think of me as the dev, right? Maybe I shouldn't be even doing this interview, right? I should be setting up the miners and, you know, getting dirty, while there is a, you know, a marketing, a CMO type of a person that's doing the community management outreach. So that's definitely a gap. And the other one is the automation, is the DeFi piece. The DeFi piece is very light right now. And I have some good ideas there, but I would need to, and I will find the right dev to help me with that. I am being adamant and very strict about the fact that I don't want to, I have no interest in spending the locked away AGA to buy those resources. I will not dump AGA on the community in order to do more marketing or hire a dev. I want those activities to be funded by mining, to be self-funded. And therefore it's going slowly.
Right.
And therefore, you know, I don't have 100,000 that I can spend like a couple of the other tokens just did on marketing, you know, in a week. I'm just not willing to do that, right? Because you see what happens with their token. It goes like that and like that when that gets sold. So a little different approach. I don't think you'll see this with AGA. I think you'll see, you know, a little more stable and very much tied to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is successful, we will be successful. If Bitcoin's kind of like, right now it's doing quite well, right? But if it weren't to, then this project gets less interesting for a lot of the community members.
Okay.
The one other thing was, sorry, Sean, just one more about the other token that you have, the AGR, right? Is that what it is? Can you give us a brief rundown on how that's connected and what's the use case of that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So AGAR is a token that allows us to be a little more innovative. It's not tied to mining. We don't really know what value it has. We basically said it's very simple. It's a small supply token. We've only released like 21,000 of them. There was no pre-sale, none of that. We just gave them to the community as rewards. And we said there is a very simple rule around AGAR. We'll create a liquidity pool. And if you put AGA and AGAR in that liquidity pool, it will always pay twice the rewards of the other pools. Genuinely, it's an experiment. It's gone okay. But that is the token where I feel much more, that is where I'm going to experiment, right? So the NFTs and the raffles that we are doing are surrounding AGAR. The AGA is a mining token, very simple idea. AGAR, it's related, it's like a derivative of AGA, but that's where we will experiment with the latest innovation. You know, what about if we did this? What about if we did NFTs? What about if we teamed with Bonk, right? What about if we teamed with somebody else? That is what I want to do with AGAR. But, you know, right now, AGA, there's probably 500, more than 500, about 700 wallets that have AGA. There is less than 100 wallets that have AGAR. And it's an experiment. And I think it's a much smaller, much tighter community. We've had some really good weeks and months, and we have some not so good, but we are learning from that. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice that you can have the secondary token not mess with what's working.
Awesome. Well, we're just coming up on an hour here, guys. Stefano, do you have any closing comments or questions?
Stefano, you're muted.
Sorry, my bad. I also got like the banner being like, you're muted. No, I was saying that like the question that I had like are all answered. That's for sure. I remain a little bit on the side that like I love the fact that like you guys are doing a sort of like university type of things for blockchain. Like you start from like mining, you go like to DeFi, you know, you're like exploring NFTs and all of those things. Like overall is a good like 360 degrees like understanding, like in the sense of like learning about all of those things.
Yep.
I'm actually curious of like seeing where it goes, because like my comment on that is that like I think it's very early for the project. Like a lot of things around like the token economy, the token structure, like the burning mechanisms, the buyback, the repurchasing on the market, the dividends, like all kind of like the things that we cover. I love the fact that you're super honest on that. I love the fact that the community is obviously being involved in that. It's not a DAO, but it's basically being used as a DAO should be used. Which unfortunately tons of projects are doing exactly the opposite. They claim to have a DAO, but they don't use that as a DAO is supposed to happen. So really good job on that, because like the willpower is all there. That's amazing. But I think it's still early for like for people to jump in. And like even if I'm looking like actually a comment on that, like what do you think? Because like I'm looking at like CoinGecko on the price, and on the 30 days chart you're basically down on like the 40%. Now obviously all altcoins right now are like in a bloodbath, but what do you think is actually like one of the reasons for that, like that the drop on like 40% in a month basically?
The 15th, the payouts, man. Exactly.
Yeah, we got hit on the 15th with the massive payouts, and it was a double whammy. I think we lost with the quick decrease in price that just had to do with very simply with a handful of people selling. Everybody understood what was happening there. We also lost a number of smaller players, kind of like the people on Telegram, who just, they weren't in Discord, they weren't, having the ongoing conversations. They were not contributors. They were just waiting for, a crazy 10x, and they left. Maybe that's better, because I don't expect a crazy 10x in a month or two. I think this is, if 10x happens, it's going to be in 6 months from now, or it's going to be a journey to get there. But I think that's what happened to the value of token. We are, releasing from what's happening behind the scenes, and what we are seeing, basically what's on the track and on a plane or on a ship coming from China. It is, I'm not sure if I can say that, but it's a very good deal.
Fair enough. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, I will be sharing more. As I said, I don't want to say it before we turn those things on, but we have some good things coming.
I was just checking the Bitcoin price, and that was the last kind of major dip that you on the 15th, 16th.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it, 13.8?
No. Oh, I mean, on October 15th, 16th, there was a dip there to below almost 11. So you combined your rewards releasing, and then you had the Bitcoin dip. People that it sketched out, they didn't, that was kind of like up or down, up or down, up or down. And then there was a big candle down. You get that combined with your rewards. That's what happens, right? You get some sketchy investors, right? Looking for the moon, and oh no, I got to get back in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I got one more questions.
There are a couple of interesting things. Like yesterday, the Bitcoin difficulty, mining difficulty, went down by 15%. I
was going to ask you about that.
So the miner that was making that had a revenue of $12 and a cost of $7 yesterday has a revenue of $14 today, and the cost still is $7. So that was a significant jump to our profitability that only very sophisticated people and community contributors understand. But that's the reality of it. We literally are like 30% more profitable as of last night.
I've heard that was due to like the rainy season in China, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so there are a lot of mining facilities in China that get almost free electricity, because during the raining seasons that electricity is produced and somebody has to take it. Electricity is a closed loop circuit. Whatever gets produced has to be used up. So these miners have deals that they will only run their mining operations for like 3 or 4 months of the year during the raining season, and then they turn them off. So they turn them off, put them on a truck, and moving them in the different locations. many of those miners will not come back on. Those are not latest generation miners. They basically are not profitable unless your electricity is free. A lot of those facilities in China have danger of flooding. So it's not a facility nor a machine that is expensive. It's basically a 4-year-old junk. But if your electricity is free, it's a great business. So, they run them for 3 to 4 months a year.
Last question. Bitcoin end of the year. What's the
25.
price? 25, hey? Oh, bullish. Interesting. Cool. Nice. You were quick on that answer too. Nice. I hope for all our sakes, that's what we're talking about. Although that'll lead to a lot of alt wreckage probably for a bit.
We'll see. I can tell you that in the mining industry, the industry is bullish. So maybe that's another thing we should have talked about. You can't buy miners right now. You cannot buy Bitcoin miners. They are sold out. If you are buying new machines, you're getting them shipped in March. If you're buying older equipment, for every 10% increase in Bitcoin price, the old stuff goes up by 10%. And you're fighting people for it. So,
and they're all bagged out probably.
Yep. So this industry is very, very bullish. Now, they cannot predict it, right? But I can tell you that kind of like the smart money, whoever's into Bitcoin mining, they have made a bet on Bitcoin being way above 20,000 soon.
The post-halving run up, right?
Yep. I think a lot of traders, I wanted it to happen sooner, but I don't think it's going to happen till late this year, early next year.
Cool. Let's go.
Okay. Stefano, you seem slightly skeptical sort of coming into this chat. What are your feelings currently?
Well, I'm always skeptical. I wake up in the morning, I take a look in the mirror, and I'm skeptical.
Who the fuck is that guy?
So. No, so the thoughts are kind of like in line on what I thought at the beginning, like with obviously like no negativity or anything like that. Like I love what you guys are doing. I think like that there is a need for that. But as you mentioned, like there is still like a lot of things to be done. So the way that I would actually like approach that is actually like as Thomas has mentioned, to have like that community of people that wants to contribute or learn. So to me, the way that I would see that is I would not buy into something like that to actually like expect the 10x and so on, but I would actually like buy in for one, either the support, because like it's clear like you're working hard for that, you're trying to build something, so you deserve all the respect of this world just for that. And second, actually to learn, which is one of the things that we've seen like on every single video over and over. You got those like $50, $100, whatever it is every single month, use them to learn stuff. And, a mining equipment, it's going to cost you more than $50. So to me, it's like pay this $50 to learn about something like that, and forget about the investment on that side. So I think like it was a very good conversation to me. Like if in the future, like, in November, actually, you end up doing all the things that you're mentioning, the token economy becomes like a nice structure with a proper backbone on that, on all the BTC that are being generated and so on, then definitely it can be like an awesome investment. That's for sure. Right now, I think like is an awesome learning experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said. I actually agree with everything you said there. For me personally, I think it's going to be fun following you guys.
Now we can watch Bitcoin hash rates.
That's right.
Yeah. Now we got a reason to. Woohoo!
I'll send you some videos of the miners making noise too.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
cool.
I know plenty about Bitcoin mining. I used to dry all my laundry next to a bunch of them. So,
I didn't mind them. I just used them to dry my laundry.
pretty much, they were losing a lot of money at the time.
It's because your dirty underwear was stuck in them.
Yeah, this was about 18 months ago, so that's all they were good for at that point. But yeah, times have changed. Look, I like that you're very much playing the Bitcoin game here. It's very different to the other projects that we've covered so far on our show. So a great addition. Look forward to looking at you on the weekly and seeing how it all progresses. So Thomas, any closing comments from yourself?
Yeah, I would love to get one of a couple of my contributors of the community members to speak to you guys. And honestly, just think of AGA as an interesting alternative to Bitcoin. It's tied to Bitcoin. It's good for Bitcoin. It has to do with mining. If you believe in Bitcoin, if you want to learn about mining, if you want to experiment in the space, we are like a family, like a group of contributors. Come hang out with us on Telegram, or maybe even on Discord.
Between the two, because that's one of the biggest nightmare for every single time that I try to enter in a project. Which one would it be better for someone that just stop into the video and is like, I want to learn more? Telegram or Discord first?
Well, so Discord
I know the answer is both, but
no. Discord requires a 10,000 AGA minimum.
Okay.
Right? Because so Discord is
The
used
VIP
almost.
room.
It's our DAO. It's our DAO. It's our governance board. I would love for you to be in Discord. The level of engagement and the seriousness of conversation. Everybody's invested. Everyone's a friend. There is no BS on Discord, right? It's a family. It's like this conversation. Telegram, it's Telegram. There's a lot of voices, and that's fine. It's democracy, but it's a little different place. But if you're just getting started, come to Telegram. I'll spend more time there. And if you want to go bigger, if you can afford that, then Discord is a great place.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's a perfect answer.
Links below, people. Get involved. We'll certainly be looking at AGA on the weekly. And Thomas, it's been a real pleasure talking with you this evening. Thanks, Stefano and Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, for setting it all up. And look, follow us. I'm actually quite intrigued, more intrigued than I thought I would be after this chat, Thomas. So yeah, I really look forward to seeing how things progress and delving a bit deeper and helping answer questions for people along the way here. Just gearing up for you guys. Great to have a Bitcoin focused project as part of our show.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll speak again very soon. Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.